Hi, good morning, everyone. How are you all this morning? I wanted to come on today, and this week I'm going to talk about creating healthy habits that stick. I've had a little request for this one from someone that I know, so I thought I'd come on. I thought there's so many women out there that go each week and try and start their healthy habits, whether it be exercise or starting to eat healthy, or even making a habit of completing something that you really want to do, and everything goes awry and you just don't know why. So I just thought that I'd come on here and help you all out and share some tips and tricks around creating healthy habits that actually stick. So at some point in our lives, or in your life, you've decided that you're going to create a habit around something that you've wanted to do long term. It may be losing some weight, getting healthy, exercising, and you know what to do. You know that, to get your cardio going, get your heart rate up, do some push-ups to get fit, get toned. You know that if you eat more vegetables and cut out all the sugary foods, you're going to feel better and get more healthy. And you know that, if you're going to write a book, just to write a page every day, it's going to actually get this book written in long term. You know exactly what you need to do, but it just doesn't happen, and you end up looking at yourself in the mirror and beating yourself up and asking yourself why you're actually failing at it, and you're never going to be any good at it, which is absolutely wrong. You have it within you to create any healthy habit. You just don't know how to do it to make it stick. So I'm going to help you out with that today. So it's really easy to figure, okay? You really don't have to understand. You don't understand how habits are built. So let's start. One of the really big things that always tricks us up is our reptilian brain. Inside our reptilian brain, we have a hormone called dopamine. And that, since the dawn of time, man has existed, that hormone has injected into our brain what it does, it creates our yearning for reward. So when we were in the caveman days, it used to drive us out to get food. When we got food, we got the reward. It used to help us escaping from predators. Our reward was to get safe. It even helped us reproduce and gain the pleasure from having sex to reproduce. So the dopamine in our brain is our pleasure button. It's our reward system. So these days, we don't have to work so hard for the rewards. These days, we have everything at our fingertips. We want food, we go out and get it. Order takeaway, everything's there. We no longer have to dodge predators to get our food, because we're at the top of the food chain. We no longer have to even go out and find companions, because you can either swipe a new friend into your life or an intimate companion. So dating apps have really made that at our fingertips. So everything in our lives it's really at our fingertips, and our brain has been subconsciously conditioned for constant reward. So when we go to create habits in our lives that might be a little bit challenging, we're not likely to stick to it to get the reward, because it's a little bit challenging. We have to work at it, and usually in our lives everything's so easy. So our subconscious brain has been conditioned that we want everything instantly, which is not the case with habits that we want to stick with. It's a long-term thing. It takes more than 2 weeks. It takes more than a few to get something in place. And when we're not patient with ourselves, we tend to give up easy. The instant rewards is not there. So we tend to give up really easy. Even when we watch Netflix, for instance, our reward's automatic because the next episode starts. we don't even have to lift a finger for the remote. It just automatically starts. And so we are constantly being rewarded, even with social media and advertising. We're constantly bombarded with swipe up, swipe this. It's right there in front of us. Everything we want is always there, and it's always so easy for us to get. So that's why we find it really hard to stick with creating healthy habits these days, because life is so easy. So let's start and work our way through ways and methods we can start creating habits that are going to stick. So there's some key rules that I want you to realize around creating healthy habits. Number one is don't try too many habits at once. Don't overload yourself and think, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, and just pick one. Pick one goal that you want to achieve. Okay, I want you to be kind to yourself. Be patient to get the results. Rome wasn't built in a day. So just really, really be kind to yourself, because you might want change in 2 weeks, but you've been doing the same old habits for years. So it's not going to change instantly. You have to be diligent, but you need to be patient with yourself. Okay, keep going. Look at the progress that you've made. And if you slip up, if you miss a day, or if you miss a couple of days, don't go back to square one. Start from where you left off and keep going. Recognize the progress that you've made. And that comes in with being kind to yourself as well. When life gets busy, just do something. Even if you've been doing half an hour of exercise, and this day in particular is very, very busy and you don't get time to do the full half hour, just go out and do a run for 10 minutes, or walk briskly around the house for 15 minutes, or instead of writing 500 words in that book, write 50, write 3 paragraphs or something. Cut down on a busy day, just cut down a little bit, but make sure that you do something towards your new goal and your healthy habit that you want to do. I think we rely way too much on motivation and willpower to keep us going. We tend to bite off more than we can chew. We tend to go too fast in our life, and then we get really, really overwhelmed too quickly, and then it becomes all too hard and we're likely to just throw it to the wind. So here's some steps to start. What I really want you to do is even write this down. Start with your why. Start with the why you want to create this healthy habit. If you don't have a good enough reason, you're flogging a dead horse to start with. You're not going to stick with it. If you say to yourself, I should do this, that's not going to make it happen either, because when you say should, that language starts having an automatic negative connotation around it. So it's not going to last. I want you to really tap into your why from the heart. I want you to really write it down on paper and then take small steps along the path. That why has really got to be a very, very valid reason from the heart. Okay. Next thing, I want you to learn to recognize the triggers and learn your cues that have created your bad habits. So that is a really sure-fast way that you can create massive quick change. So say you're tired and you want a pick-me-up. So around 3 o'clock you've created a habit, because we have that slump around 2, 3, usually around 2:30 in the afternoon, and on the opposite end of the scale we may be awake around 2 to 2:30 in the morning. That's usually time when our liver's most active. So we have that slump in the afternoon. Okay, the cue is, okay, I'm going to have a coffee to have a pick-me-up. I'm going to have coffee, I'm going to have sugar in it, and then our body goes, wow, now I've got caffeine, I've got sugar, I've got extra energy, I'm going to get along with my day. Okay, So what I would like you to do when you feel that slump in the evening, or in the afternoon rather, and you're craving for that coffee, swap it out for a fresh juice. Swap something healthy in its place. And before too long, you'll be so used to just having that healthy juice. It'll make you feel good. It will give you extra energy. The energy that you got from the caffeine is not long lasting. It's going to be over within an hour, really. Whereas the energy that you get from natural juices and healthy food is going to be long lasting, more sustaining. So what you need to do is recognize the cues for the bad habits and swap in good habits in its place. Okay? So when you go to go for a walk or whatever, instead of, or if you go to watch Netflix, instead of watching Netflix, go for a walk rather. Instead of scrolling up through your phone, that might be a cue. Do something healthy. Just even jump up and down on the spot for 10 times. That's going to get your heart rate going, your energy going. So every time you recognize a bad habit, swap it out for a good habit. Okay? So now I want you to use some systems as well around creating good habits. Okay? I want you to create an environment in your home going to help you to easily stick to your good habits. So if you want to eat healthy food, go through your entire cupboard, take out everything unhealthy and replace it with only healthy foods. I've done this in my life. Years ago, I had a bout of toxic chemical poisoning and I really needed to detox my whole life. I was even bedridden. I was so bad. And so what I did was I switched to macrobiotic cooking and diet. But what I needed to do first was I needed to basically gut my whole cupboard and take out everything. So I just took everything out that wasn't healthy and went shopping and bought all the good things that were related to my macrobiotic diet, so that when I started cooking, I could only cook macrobiotic food. There was absolutely no temptation in my cupboard to sway from that. So set up your environment. If it's around exercise, have your gym gear all ready to go in the morning. Put your gym shoes by the bed. Have it all ready. Know what you're going to do. Okay. Then I want you to start programming your mind. Put a timer in your phone that alarm is going to go off, that you're going to go exercising at 6:30 every morning. So 6:30 every morning, you're going to be up at 5:30, 6:30. There's a timer, there's a reminder that that's what you need to do. So program it into your life and make a habit around that. Okay. So if you want to watch less TV, watch less Netflix, okay, get somebody else to put a program into your phone that only allows you for half an hour a day to go through your social media or to watch something or get lost in YouTube. Get somebody else to put a timer, and they have the passcode that's going to get you out of that. I know of a husband and wife team that did that to one another, and now their lives are so much more enriched because they have more time to talk to one another. Their conversations are better. Their time together is better because they're not sitting there scrolling up their phone, looking at things and not relating to one another. Their whole relationship changed. So if you want to, if you've got a program on Netflix that you really want to watch, well, then you just need to go one episode, put a timer at the end of it. It's time to move on, and it's time to get moving in your life. Okay, we're around cooking, around healthy eating. Consider batch cooking. That way, if you're time poor, you've already got it cooked. So allocate one day, I know a week that you're going to do multiple cooking. Okay, I know of a lady that I know of that she cooked on Sundays. So Sunday afternoon was her cooking day. And she cooked for the whole week. She organised her whole week. She put it in the freezer. And every day she'd just go to the freezer and get her food out, and it was all ready there waiting. Okay, so the other thing you can do is have accountability. So write down on paper, actually, what I'm going to do after this video is I'm actually going to make available to you an accountability declaration. So if you would like a copy of that accountability declaration for yourself, that you can print it out and sign it, that you're actually going to do this and make yourself accountable for creating these habits that stick, that's a sure way. Once it's out on paper and you've signed it and dated it, that's making a obligation and a declaration that you're actually going to do and start this new healthy habit that you have. Okay, recruit allies. Get a team of people behind you. It's hard sometimes to do these things by yourself, but if you make yourself accountable to others, you're more likely to get moving, change your diet, or find someone that wants to do it with you, even better. If you've joined an exercise group and you have got 6 people waiting for you at 6:30 every morning, I guarantee that you're going to be there. So get a little team, little support team around you. The other thing you can do is create some consequences around these habits, that if you do them, there's going to be some really uncomfortable consequences if you don't do them, So one could be, for instance, every time you don't do a habit, you've got to pay your best friend $50. Every time you fall down something, every time you don't, if you throw some junk food into your mouth or whatever, then you have to pay your best friend $50. The other thing you can do is, if I don't do it, I've got to rake around the house twice. Really, really make them uncomfortable for you, and then you'll always stick to your habits because you're accountable to those consequences if you don't do it. Okay, try not to ever miss 2 days in a row. Okay, that's when you start to go, oh, well, in your mind, it doesn't really matter. I've missed 2 days, so what the hey? Really try, and if you miss 1 day, that's okay. If you just do less on 1 day, it's okay. But try very hard not to miss 2 days in a row. Don't pick habits that you hate to start. If you're not going to enjoy the new healthy habit, you're not going to do it. It's as simple as that. So choose a new habit that you really, really want to do and that you're going to enjoy. Okay, there's a thing called SMART goals, and that really is a great way of looking at your healthy habits in a very, very, well, it's a smart way. The SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. So I'll just give you a little bit of a cap on that. If it's be specific, that goes back to your why you want to do it. Be specific with the one goal that you're going to change, the one healthy habit that you're going to create for yourself. Be really, really specific and focused on that one habit. Okay, make it measurable. Okay, just aim for maybe one that you're going to make extremely healthy to start with, or you're going to do half an hour of exercise a day, or even 15 minutes run down the road and back to start with. Make it measurable for you. Make it achievable for you. Don't really go out and go over the top and rely on that willpower and motivation to get you through. Make it achievable. Start with small steps. The journey starts with small steps. Remember, you need to enjoy the journey, otherwise it's not going to stick. Make it realistic for you. That goes in a line with achievable. Make it a realistic goal. Don't forget to be patient with yourself, because you've had these bad habits for a long time. Make it realistic that you're going to get to, okay, in a month I'm going to have lost 5 kilos. Make it realistic. Don't say, well, in a month I'm going to lose 20 kilos, because it's not realistic. you become very, very, very overwhelmed quickly if you don't make your goals realistic. Okay, and the other thing is to make it time-based. Okay, say I'm going to run for 30 minutes. Say I'm going to do exercise for 45 minutes. Say I'm going to start that new habit and write this chapter of my book, and I'm going to start for 15 minutes. So make it time-based as well. Put a timer on your phone when the time's up. Okay, every little bit helps. Okay, so what I want you to do today, now that I've given you all those tips, I want you to identify the cues identify the cues around your bad habits. Identify the cues and the triggers that are around your bad habits. And then I want you to swap out for new, improved, healthy habits. You know, is it boredom? Is it stress? Is it you have something that you do that's a little bit bad after work every day as a reward that you finished your day? Okay? Then I want you to identify a potential reward around doing a good thing. Okay? And around the creating healthy habits, identify the reward that you're going to get for doing the good habit. It may be extra energy, less stress, more satisfaction in your life that you actually have done this for yourself, and more happiness in your life that you actually have achieved something. Okay, and then thirdly, I want you to identify a new routine that you'd like to establish that gets results in the same way, and reward yourself. It gets results in the same way that you would if you had a negative behavior, rather. So I want you to swap out, how you feel. If you have a negative behavior and that's the reward that you're giving yourself, I want you to swap that out, and I want you to give yourself something really positive. Establish a positive routine that gives you the result in a more productive and a more healthy way. Okay, so I know it's not easy. I know it can be difficult. That's why I've been a coach for so long. So I want you to realize, be kind and be patient to yourself. If you need a hand, I'm always here. I'll help you guide. I'll guide you through. I'll be putting up a blog post about this later, and I'll also be, if you want that accountability declaration and some extra tips, just or put your name below and I'll PM you and I'll get that to you somehow. So kudos to you for listening. Kudos for you for wanting to start good, healthy habits. Very proud of you, and I'll see you on the other side, and let me know how you go. Let me know if this has been helpful for you. Okay, thanks. See you next week. Bye.